Greetings, my name is Michael Kilgal, and today I'll have an interview with a man who's a legend and a legend of a man. His name is Duncan Leung. In Cantonese, Leung Hong, and in Putonghua, Liang Shaohong. Duncan is a kung fu master, or sifu, in the real sense of the word. He was a private student and disciple of Ip Man, a childhood friend of Bruce Lee's, and a friend to many outstanding people. He witnessed many events that made history. Today, we'll learn about his path, philosophy of life, and much more. That special humor is always speaking his mind, no BS, chain smoking, old school, just the way you and I like it. I am honored to be a student, and today to take an interview with him. Buckle up for a terrific interview with an outstanding man. And now, meet Duncan Leung. Come on. Hello, today we'll have an interview with Duncan Leung. Hello, and I'm very glad to see you. I'm going to ask you some questions.
Sure.
Yeah, could you please tell us about your childhood? Like, what was life like in the 40s and 50s?
My childhood starts 40s, and I was in Hong Kong, and I got four mothers, big family. That's the old tradition, and many brothers, sisters. But I was growing up not very obedient, so I was very naughty.
Yeah.
So they can't control me. They spank me every day, one by one, by four mothers. And I guess you're so used to it, it's just like a standard thing. And then they threw me to Macau. And because those days Macau is very kind of quiet, very small place, and we have a house there. And I went to kindergarten there. And when I was about 7 years old, I went to the dentist and get poisoned to my tooth, and then they want to do the surgery on me.
Yeah.
I didn't went to school for almost 9 months, over 6 months, so to 9 months. So I can't catch up my work, but my parents insist that I should move on to fourth grade, even though I'm not ready for it. And because in Chinese they believe big family, they believe face. There's no face. Your son cannot. Finally, they put me into another school, and then that year after year, I cannot catch up my schoolwork, and but also my body was weak after the surgery. So in Macau, the only two things you can do to improve your health is swimming during the summer and start learning kung fu. And since I don't like, because I can't catch up, so I start learning kung fu and start like fighting. So when you were a kid, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, you're fighting each other. Nobody gets hurt. So I wasn't afraid because I was a kid. Nobody hurts me. I can't hurt anybody either. But I enjoy it. So I start falling in love with fighting. But that was because I was small. And then when I was about the 6th grade, I could not pass. I cannot graduate. And so I have to, no any school would accept me. And I have a bad name in the whole Macau. Everybody knows me because I'm naughty. I've done things nobody believes. It's unbelievable. Because nobody can control me. I wasn't scared of anything. So Nobody accept me. So I have to go back to Hong Kong. So that's my childhood.
And what did you value when you were a kid? What things were important to you when you were a kid?
What thing more important to me?
Yeah, what was important?
Nothing more than I enjoy more fighting.
Mm.
I think it's a game.
Mhm.
I don't hate each other. I don't hate people. I think it's a game. Just like you like basketball, soccer, it's a game.
Mhm. Why did you decide to learn Wing Chun instead of some other form of Kung Fu?
Well, I learned many other kind of martial arts. So when I went back after I went back to Hong Kong, my cousin is a movie star
Mhm.
in opera, and she very young.
Yeah.
She's very young, but of course older than us. She just got her driver license. She's pretty, makes good money because the actress, famous
Yeah.
actress, and she and Bruce Lee's father are colleagues.
Oh.
They know each other in China, also in Hong Kong. They make movie and opera singing also in Hong Kong.
Mhm.
So she's older than me, of course, and older than Bruce a little bit. And Bruce has a lot of brother and sister.
Yeah.
And she live very close to each other. And Bruce always go to her house. Don't like to stay home. And too many restrictions. So I usually fight, and I love to fight, and I get hurt a lot. Every time I get injured, I scared to go home. So I went to my cousin's house and stayed there for a few days until I'm better. My parents would not do not know nor worry because I live with my cousin. In those days, Bruce never learned any martial arts, but we all like to go to the studio when my cousin is making movie, and he likes to go. I like to go. He's a fool around, the big place in the studio. And there's a guy called Siu Huan Sang, is a fight scene coordinator. So Bruce loved it and wanted to learn from him. I wasn't interested because I think those so-called martial art is nothing but demonstrations. It's not really solid. So I won't be interested. But he's learning from him for a little while. And then his father find out, father find out that, hey, you want to learn martial art, might as well go to a real person. So he knew Yip Man
Oh.
since they were in Guangzhou and Busan. So he brought him to Yip Man. So after Bruce learned from Yip Man for a few months, 3, 4 months, and one day we were in my cousin's house and he was challenging me and showed me what he have learned. And he said, I never even heard the name of Wing Chun. So we start fighting a little bit. It was fun. But the chase that you've been doing?
Yeah.
It's stupid, but it works. It goes so fast, in the face. You can't run anywhere, you can't get anywhere. So I said, what the hell is this? I never see anything like that. But it works. So, well, baby, we did it in the balcony. I said, okay, let's go to the roof. We get more room. We went to the roof, get the roof. It will work. So I need a bigger space. So we went to the park, right? So I said, okay, I believe it. I want to see your seafood. So I went. He took me to Yip Man. That's how I started.
Okay, cool. Well, could you tell us how Edmund taught you?
Well, just like anybody, you pay your money. Tell everybody line up when you go there. All right. So you go in, do the form, turn the horse, and then everybody do chisel. He don't care. He just walk away. He even look at you. And because we all love fighting, and Yip Man is different with any martial art instructors or sifu. When I go to other school, when I learn from other teachers, they always tell you, well, you learn martial art, don't push people around, be nice and this, and give me all this kind of, you know, how to become a man and don't push people around. And Yip Man is different. You want to learn martial art, you got to fight. You don't fight, what the hell are you learning it for? He's the only one different. And I love that. The first time I see somebody agree with me. So that's, but the problem is, when I learn from him, he don't care. You ask him a question, he always asking you ask you back the questions. I ask him, let's say, oh, what does this mean? And he always tell you, all right, you think about it, tell me about it tomorrow. So I tell him about it, he said, oh, you're smart. He didn't tell you right or wrong, he said, oh yeah, good, you're smart. We all think he's right. Then other student ask the same question, we come back with a different answer. He also said he's right. He said, who is right? He said, both are right. Depends on the person. So he just fool you around. Just it's important. So one day, it was about, well, I was with him about 3-4 months. And one day, I had a fight. And it was a challenging fight with other side. And I got hurt real bad. It cracked. It's not broken totally. It's cracked, my rib. So I couldn't even cough. They were hurt so much. So I went to the hospital. They took me to the hospital. They wrapped me up. That's all they can do. Just wrap me up. Well, it will heal by itself. So I thought about that. A few days later, I went to Yip Man. And he was congratulating me. He said, you just beat the other guy. Yes, it was blood all over the face. Because it happened so fast, they keep punching him in the face. I cut his lip, That was it. They broke his nose. But I'm the one getting real bad, real hurt. But when you fight, you don't feel the pain. I keep going. So I said, no, I know I didn't win. But don't give me this BS, I didn't win. I know myself. And I don't want to learn any more from you. So I give up. Then he tell me, he said, no. He said, you don't know what you're doing. You should do this, you do that. I said, why didn't you tell me that before? He's saying, come back the same answer. Why didn't you ask? What do I know how to ask? I don't know how to ask questions. So he suggests I should learn private. You spend more time. I give you more money. For what? Then he started explaining to me. That makes sense. Let me try it then. That's how I started learning private.
How did you continue your studies after you stopped learning from Yip Man?
Well, I learned everything I could. The last thing I learned, after the double knife, I learned the long pole. There's only 2 weapons in Wing Chun. For the long pole, the double knife depends on the speed. But the long pole depends on the physical power. And I was young. I was only 18. And it took a long time to create the power. So every morning before I go to school, I train very hard. So I wasn't very good at it. I was just start training, learning everything on that. But you have to train because it's very simple, the long pole. It's everything based on the power, physical power. So one day I woke up, I do the same thing, breakfast and start training. I start training and then I think about myself, what the hell I'm doing? I waste all my life and doing all this shit, no good. For what? So I hate it. All of a sudden, I don't know why, I just hate it. So from that day on, I don't work out. I don't like to watch anything connecting with martial art. I don't even watch movies. Start on that day. Any kind of sport, I'm sick and tired with because I have too much sports. So I gave up. Until many years later, No, I went to Australia school because I can't continue school. Nobody accepts me. So I went to Australia for maybe about 3 years, and come back to Hong Kong and start working. Nobody wants me in school. Then 1974 because 1973 because it's the recession in the whole world. So I have a factory and I have some other business. It collapsed and I couldn't get any order. So I was making ski jackets, and then those days I got no business. I have to close my factory. So I decided, since I know English, I fly to America. I want to, you know, look for buyers. And I stayed in New York, in I from Broadway one to the end of Broadway. Those where all the buyers is. I stayed for 3 months. I could get one penny of business.
Could you tell us about Bruce Lee and how you knew each other?
Well, I know Bruce Lee since we were little kids. As I said, it's because of my cousins in the movie. That's how I know him. And that's why we are so close, because he go to my cousin's place. I go to my cousin's place. And my cousin has a swimming pool, outside the city, and has the villa. And so we're kids. We like to play around. So we're close on those days.
Was he different before he learned Kung Fu?
Different or what?
Like, was there any difference in him?
No, same thing.
And what do you think made Bruce Lee so famous?
Well, after I left, after he was leaving us when I think it was 1958, and I left Hong Kong 1959, end of 1959. So when he left for United States, because he turned 18, he had to move back to United States to claim his citizenship because he was born in America. And after I went there, we have no connection. We're disconnected. And then a year and a half after, I went to Australia. So we're disconnected. And after I come back to Hong Kong, after maybe 3 years, and he didn't come back. So totally disconnected. And I think early 70s or late 60s or early 70s, he came back to make movies. I didn't even know. And I bumped into him at the television studio, and I bought a new car, and convertible. I drive a new car, try to show off, pick up the girl. And then the goddamn hood doesn't come back on the Thunderbird, because that's a Thunderbird is American made, left hand drive. But those days Hong Kong is right hand drive, so they removed the steering to the right hand. So the fan bell are broken. They won't do a good job, and they're running the battery down. So I have to open up the wood in front of everybody. The wood won't come down because no battery. And then the gate, the guard in the gate knew me very well. I always go there. I know almost lots of people, almost everybody. Told me that Bruce is here. I said, bullshit. I said, Bruce is in America. No, he's here. So I tell him, I said, okay, tell him Duncan is here. But that guy doesn't know English, So he sent some guy there doesn't know English to tell him Duncan is here. So he thought somebody's challenging him. He was in the interview or demonstration. He came down, what the hell, who would challenge me? He comes and said, hey, you. I said, what, you? So we get back together a little bit. And then we didn't spend a whole lot of time together because we're all grown up. I have my business, I have my work, and he's busy in making movies. And then, that's how we get back together. According to him, he liked to show off. Since he was a little kid, he loves to show off. And the way what he showed us, is hell better than I was. And he was very unbelievable. I tell you, he was so fast. You couldn't even see him coming. Nobody. No one.
And how did you participate in the movie world?
No, I never participated. I know everybody in the movie those days. Everybody. All the big guys, big shot on the movie star. I knew I just don't like movie anymore. I don't like movie anyway. So, like I said, since I gave up martial art, I don't like movies because I think it's all BS. I don't involve any movie, no.
But in your opinion, which movies are the best, like better than normal about
Like
Wing Chun? What Wing Chun movies show Wing Chun the best in the best way?
movie is movie. There is no real thing except that well, because I was in it. I was in it in the movie called The Grandmasters by Wong Kar Wai, and I wasn't interested in it because he's not the first one asked me to participate. I never interested. But he said to me, he said, if you can help me, I knew your son, Darren, you met Darren,
Yeah.
want to be in the movie. So I can help him, I teach him and let him in the movie. If you agree to help me. That's how I get involved. And why also most important thing is he asked me something that nobody wants to do. He wants to be real. I said, how you want to be real? He said, I want you to train the superstar to martial arts. I said, the superstar doesn't need martial arts. The movie can make him do anything. No, I want the real thing. I want the real fight. I said, you kidding me? A movie star, a multi-millionaire, will spend time with me just learning it for the movie? I don't believe it. And he guaranteed me Tony Leung would do it. So I met with Tony Leung, he brought him next time. He agreed, yes, I'm sincere, I really want to learn. I said, that's painful. You know, that's hard work. Yes, I'll do it. And he did. And my son Darren broke his arm too. Oh yeah, it was totally broken. Twice. That means the Grandmaster, the fight scene are very real. Very real. Not like the not like that. You can see very clear.
Could you tell us about your Wing Chun studies during your lifetime, and when did you realize that you have to become a master?
Well, you know, when you know something, nobody have to tell you. You know, confidence. When you're able to handle it, you know you can handle it. Nobody can tell you yes or no. You just know.
And when did you start to teach Kung Fu?
I was in, well, like I said, I was giving up martial art and hate martial arts. I don't want to get to know anybody with martial art, and I don't want to talk to anyone with martial art about martial art. 74. When I was in America, like I said, I was 3 big suitcases with samples of ski jackets. From Broadway 1 all the way down to Broadway, the end of Broadway. And then I can't do any business. And then one night, it's about almost about to leave America. And I was in a French restaurant. It was maybe after midnight. That restaurant opened till 4 in the morning.
Wow.
The restaurant, Friendship Restaurant, called, is on Delancey Street. You
It's
know,
still there?
Delancey Street is in very low East Manhattan. Very bad places. A lot of hookers there. That's why they open so late. A lot of hookers, bad guys. So this friend of mine, he's Chinese. He immigrated to Peru, so they speak Spanish, and that's why you know that he cooks Spanish Chinese food, and I get no way to go, no place to go, so I hang around there every night. You know, so I couldn't find any business, so about time to leave. And one night, there's two group of people. One is Dominican, one is the politician. You know, so anyway, those are Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
Uh, they fought each other, fist fight, and then one guy pulled up the knife, opened up, it's that long, chase the other guy, go chase the outside, and it passed through me, so I got him. It wasn't my business, but I don't want my friend's restaurant they get killed in there. So I grab him, I disable him, put the knife in his throat, kick him, get him out. And after I got him out, and I asked the owner, Henry, to give me the key so I can lock it. That day it's very dark outside, but very bright inside. I can see too much outside. And then after I got the guy out, then I'm waiting for getting the key. And then after about a few minutes, I said, "Pong!" like that. I broke the glass. I said, "God damn it, it throws rocks on me." So I opened up the door and holding on his knife. And I saw him just against the door, maybe about 3 yards, maybe 10 feet. He's holding a gun. It was first shot. It gone through the first glass, hit the glass, didn't break the windshield, didn't break the glass, and hit the second glass because in New York there's winter, so they have two doors. They go to the first door glass and hit the second door, hit the window, but hit not the window, not the glass, but hit the frame, the metal frame. So the whole glass shaking. So I thought it was throwing a rock. I didn't realize that too fast happened. So I opened up the door. So I saw him holding a gun. I was stood there, holding the door, open the door until he empty his gun. I said, I don't do anything. I was so scared. It was shocked. And it was scared of me because holding his knife. I'm the one to disable him. So after shooting, he ran. But there was two off-duty officers there. The police car come, a lot of policemen come, and they start asking questions. And the two off-duty officers, they have guns, but they were because it happened so fast, they all ducked down. They didn't even have time to pull out their guns until the guy ran. And he got two guys in the back, not serious, and one hit to the guangdong, the statues in Chinese restaurant, they all have that. And they, after the interview, and then the captain said, "Really, you're classmate of Bruce?" I said, "Yeah, I'm classmate of Bruce." Because I told him about Wing Chun. He said, "Wing Chun, that's Bruce Lee's style." I said, "Yeah, he's my classmate." And then he started asking me if I can teach Wing Chun for the police academies. And no, I'm going home. And because I can't make a business here. So besides, I'm here only on the visiting B1, B2 visa. So, and my family is not here. I don't want to stay. So they said, no, you can stay. And we can give you a residence. I said, I don't believe it. So I said, whatever you want to say, I'm not interested. So I told my wife that what happened. I said, they can make me stay here, and I don't want to stay here, but they can make me stay here if I agree to teach. My wife said, well, then, challenge him. Okay. I said, okay, you make me stay here, I stay here to teach. I didn't believe, because in America, I know that much. The police department has nothing to do with immigrations. And you know what? A week after, I get a phone call for the immigration. They want to interview me. I said, "You're going to be kidding me. Are you joking?" No, we are immigrations. And we in what area, what street, and what time can you be here? So I went there. The interview is a black lady and had my pictures and want me to autograph and give me green card. And give me green card. That's how I stay. I went, no, I got no choice now. You want me to bluff them? I bluff them, you know. So I stayed.
Mm.
And then later on, my family came.
Well, you teach in applied English in schools that you have founded all over the world. And could you tell us where some of them are?
I only have one school. That's in Virginia Beach. In New York, later on in Virginia Beach. But it wasn't my school. It's student school. It has nothing to do with me. But most of my students don't like to teach. They just want to learn. That's why I don't have them in the school. But I have a lot of students all over the world.
Could you tell us how Kung Fu students today are different from the ones of earlier years?
Well, same thing. No different. Except I find out the differences is between the West and China. You know, in China, they want to learn Wing Chun. The intention is different. The motive is different, than in the West. And in China, I'm kind of disappointed because most of them, how to call it, they're not that eager. And they're not eager to fight. They don't care. And the way they learn, they don't have questions. They don't ask questions because they think if I ask the question too much, it's not respectful. But the Westerner is different, especially in Europe, America. They doubt everything you say. They won't believe anything you say. They want to check with it. They want to find out, you know. But Chinese is different. They believe anything you say. You know, if you tell them I move my finger, he kill them. He believe it. You know, unbelievable. And they won't work hard like the Westerners. When you join us, it wasn't too long because of but I don't know whether you were with us or not. Just before the virus came, a year before, every year I have maybe 30, 40 foreigners come over the world to train. And I charge lots of money. And they're willing to come. They spend that much money. And they really work hard on it because they lot of saving, They work very hard for the money and spend that much money to come. Plus, they have to pay for the airline ticket and the hotel and the food. And they love to do that. They wanted to do that. But here, forget it. That's why, as you know, I insist you have to come at least 3 times for the class, for each week. But that's the only way you learn. But a lot of people can make it. That's why I don't have many students here.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to ask, is today's training different from training with Ip Man? Or is it pretty much the same?
Of course it's different. No, actually, it depends on which way you mean. The way we train, actually, Ip Man don't care less. All what he want to do is do the form, do the qisao. That was it. But when I learned private, it's still different because I pay so much money, and he does care, really care, and he always push us to go to fight, real fight, and he's more interested to see how the result is each fight that I have, because he can't do it anymore by himself, and he wants to see how we do it.
You have several disciples, which are special students, right? And you're a disciple of Ip Man.
Mm-hmm.
Who are these people that are your disciples?
Well, there's one thing that people don't understand what a disciple is. Just like today, a lot of people want to become a disciple. Disciple is different with students. Disciple in Chinese is called Tin Dei Guan Chan Si. Tin, the God in the sky. Dei, the God in the ground. Tuan is your king, your leader. Chan is your parents. Si is your seafood. In other words, if your parents are not around, your seafood is your parents.
Mhm.
So it's like a father and son. So you can't just call anybody as a seafood. Your father give you birth. You get no choice. You are his son. And you know what? He give you birth. You have no choice. He's your father. Whether you like it or not. You got no choice. He got no choice. But seafood and son, the seafood and disciple, you have a choice. You can choose who is your seafood. And he has a choice who's going to be your disciple. So you don't call anybody your father because you like him. You don't call anybody your son because you like him. You have to know him. You have to be able to count on him, just like father and son. So how are you going to accept anybody to be a disciple or to be a seafood unless you know him well, unless you know you can count on each other, you know. So I don't have that many disciples.
Hmm. And how did you become a disciple of Ip Man?
Well, I believe it was at first unintentionally.
Okay.
I think it started with he wasn't accept any disciple.
Oh.
He had no intention to take any disciple. And I think it was started because it was kind of upset because Bruce is a private student and we were out in private student, not many, just a couple, few. But they will never stay long. The longest is what we are with the human. And when Bruce died when he was turned 18, he left for America. And all of a sudden, just like you have one of your best friend, your closest person left you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he felt very, how do you call it, not upset, very despondent, very lonely, you know. And then he came to me, he said that, okay, you want me to become a disciple or not? I said, I thought I'm not a disciple already. I'm calling you seafood. He said, no, disciple is different. And he started explaining what the disciples are about.
Yeah.
I'm willing to accept you. Do you want to be? Because we have to be able to count on each other. So I, no, sure. You know, why not? At those days, I was a kid. What do I know? You want it? Okay, I don't mind. That's how I do it.
Wow.
I didn't think too much.
Hmm. Well, what do you think is the secret of success in Kung Fu? Like, how do you become very good at it?
How to become very good? You have to keep working on it.
Mhm.
You have to prove to yourself that you can do it.
And what are the principles that you have understood about Kung Fu?
Kung Fu
Yes.
is a way of fighting to protect yourself. You know, whether you like it or not, whether he's big or small, somebody want to hurt you, you're able to stand up for it. That's martial art. That's Kung Fu.
How has Kung Fu training helped you in other areas of life? Or has it not?
Confidence. Confidence. So you have confidence on yourself. I can handle any situations. So you're calm.
Who do you consider to be your teachers in life, and what have they taught you?
The only person I thanks for is my cousin.
Mm.
You know, I could be very bad without if it's not because my cousin. She didn't scream at me. She never spanked me, even though she's not that much older than me. She always tell me talk sense, talk reasons, and kind. And I never believe in any religions. But because of her, keep telling me that Jesus Christ and all this, and suddenly every week I go to church with her and become baptized. So It not she did not tell me. She does not always tell me what's there's you don't do this, you don't do that. You know, from time to time I start thinking like this. I shouldn't do that. It's wrong. I shouldn't do this. It's wrong. And that's why I wasn't turning a bad person. She's the one making me, change my whole life.
What do you think is the secret of succeeding in life?
You know, I don't have any. I'm not Confucius. So only thing I know is someday you ask yourself, how do I treat people? How do I treat myself? Am I honest to others? Did I do good things for others? Am I do myself right? Do the right thing? And you know, that's you're happy. I'm not worried anything because I've done what I can. I never hurt anyone. I'm nice to everybody. I respect anyone. You want somebody to respect you, you first respect it. That's my philosophy.
That's the end of the questions I would like to ask. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You know, Michael, I'm glad you're here. And you know why?
Right?
I think it's a opportunity. See, everybody nowadays, you're Russian, or you're English, or you're Spanish, or whatever. To me, it's a human. We should live together, get to know each other. It doesn't matter what race. What difference does it make? It's human. So the whole world actually is one unit. We all live in the world.
Mhm.
So I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
And don't forget, don't forget your mother language. Don't. When my kid was young, like I said, you know, I forced them to speak Chinese. My wife against it. Oh, we are in America now. Why you want to force them to learn English? Learn Chinese? I said, no, you're wrong. You don't forget your root, where you come from. You don't forget who you are. That's very important. So you're lucky. Your father make you stay with your mother language. Very important. You have to remember who you are.
Thank
Got
you.
it?